What's good, people? Yours truly, the Crown Boy, TimothyCODE, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. We're into week 2 of The Artist's Way by Julia Cameron. It's a 12-week course on creative rediscovery, a spiritual path to higher creativity, and like I said, I get it. At this point, I feel like you know you I want the book as well. But we have to work with what we have. All right. But if you just tuned in or you have not been following, this is part of a 12-week series. I did week 0, I did week 1, and this is week 2. And I know I'm a week late. I was supposed to drop this last week, but I'm going to be sharing with you the real reason why I did not do that. But what's good, people? How you feeling, man? Again, first and foremost, I have crazy eye bags today. I have not slept, probably dehydrated, but hey, we're here. And also, I think this is a nice way of being authentic. I mean, you need to show people the not so good side. Let's not filter everything out. The days when you do not have, enough sleep and it shows on your face, this is going to be one of those days. So let's ignore that. But let's get into week 2 of The Artist's Way. Now, week 2 is recovering a sense of identity. Now, the book says this week will address self definition as a major component of creative recovery. You will find yourself drawing new boundaries and staking out new territories as your personal needs, desires, and interests become known to you or announce themselves. These essays and tools are aimed at moving you into your personal identity, a self defined you. Now, the very first line in this chapter comes from a section called Going Sane. And it says, trusting our creativity is new behavior for many of us. It will feel quite threatening initially, not only for us, but to our intimates, the people around us. And before we get into that, I just want to say, yo, this last week, I know I sound exactly like last week, but this last week in particular was very, very challenging. And part of the things I was worried about is just becoming a full on skeptic. If I'm going to be honest with you, there's a section from last week where I just put the book down, where I just stopped doing the course, stopped writing the morning pages, and just said, you know what? It is what it is. And the book did say that I was going to get into this phase. You will feel angry. Yes, I did feel angry. You'll feel skeptical. Yes, I have been feeling skeptical. And you're going to doubt yourself. All 3 things happened. And it's not that I knew that they would happen as a result of reading the book, but them happening and then not being able to, identify it in that moment kind of, pissed me off. I felt like I was going to be in a position where I'm like, yes, I'm reading the book, I'm following, the teaching in the book. And then the book says, you're going to get angry and you're going to get skeptical. And I'm like, nah. And then I did. Crazy stuff, man. But then also, it also talks about poisonous playmates. And there's a quote in here that says, all sanity depends on this, that it should be a delight to feel heat strike the skin, a delight to stand upright, knowing the bones are moving easily under the flesh. And this is by Doris Lessing. Basically, what this is telling me is learn to accept the place that you're in. It's week 2, and yes, the course might not be the easiest to follow, but learn to accept the place that you're in. Learn to accept the new identity that you're building. And that's been very hard for me this past week. Maybe I've gone off track. Maybe to a certain extent, it started to feel a bit performative, like you want to put on a show. And I get it, you're a performer, that's who you are. But it stops feeling real if you don't accept the fact that the identity is changing. You're no longer the person people know you for the last 10 years. You're a different person now. And unlearning that has been a very eye opener, a very big eye opener for me. Unlearning the fact that I'm no longer the person that people have known me to be for the past 10 years, and I'm stepping into a new identity. I think that is where the power is, in learning that you can be new. Your bones and your flesh can be new. The soul that you're creating can be new. I'm learning, man. I'm learning. There's another section in this particular chapter called Crazy Makers. This was my favorite section. So, crazy makers, according to the book, are those personalities that create storm centers. They are highly charismatic, frequently charming, highly inventive, and powerfully persuasive. And for the creative person in their vicinity, they're enormously destructive. You know the type. Those that are out of control, long on problems, short on solutions. Lord have mercy. This section spoke to me so much because I felt that there's so many people I've been around who just naturally, my spirit tells me that they're not in alignment with themselves. And it's not to judge, but the fact that they are not in alignment with themselves means that you, the creative in this equation, can very easily get lost in track just by being around them. Because again, highly charismatic, out of control, and there's that deep desire for attention going towards them. There's an example that the book gives here that talks about a film crew that was working on a particular set. You know, brilliant set designers, costume designers, sound engineers, and the one director who was just giving everyone hell on set. And I know you know those people. There's people who you go around and just feel like every time you're around them, drain, drain, drain. Everyone around you might be trying to do the right thing, do a good job, but once you're around this person, drain, drain, drain. Now, over the last 10 years, I've been around a few people like that, and I wasn't in the best space to probably, what's the word, to identify what these people are as crazy makers. But trust me, when you do, it becomes so clear. I'll give you some of the examples, ways you can identify what a crazy maker is. So, a crazy maker, one, will break deals and destroy schedules. You know this. Something always has to be on their time, never on your time, always on their time. It's like the world moves when they move. Crazy. Crazy makers expect special treatment. Ah, uh, it's okay. That I think is self-explanatory. Crazy makers discount your reality. They make you feel like the really top tier when it comes to gaslighting. They make you feel like your reality is not the thing that you want to experience. They spend your time and your money. You know this. That one goes without saying. Crazy makers, when they borrow your car, they return it late. Their travel arrangements always cost you money. Um, yeah, they come to maybe the studio or to the club and they didn't bring their own money, and you know those people. Um, Crazy makers are expert blamers. Expert blamers. Nothing is their fault. For whatever reason, if something goes wrong, nothing is their fault. It's like even if you hand them a mirror and say, hey, look, the fault is with the person in the mirror, the man in the mirror. They're very easy to say, nope, not me. They create drama and, crazy makers create drama and seldom where they belong. Like, you know that saying where you have a grenade, pull out the pin of the grenade, throw it, and just run away. And when it goes off, it goes off. That's crazy makers for you. So, what the book tells us is that as blocked creatives, we are willing to go to almost any lengths to remain blocked. And as frightening and as abusive as life with a crazy maker is, we find it far less threatening than the challenge of a creative life of our own. Using this fear as our excuse, we continue to allow the crazy makers to abuse us. And if you are involved with a crazy maker, it's very important that you admit this fact. Admit that you're being used. Admit that you're also using your own abuser. That's a very interesting fact there. That the crazy maker is a block that you choose yourself to deter you from your own trajectory. And as you're being exploited by this crazy maker, you too are using that person to block your own creative flow. In short, learn to identify these people and learn to let them go, or at least create a distance between the two of you. The next part in this chapter was skepticism. And ooh, this is the part of this particular chapter and this past week that got me the most. I've been angry, I've been skeptical, I've had self-doubt, I've doubted the course itself. And again, like I said in the beginning of the video, man, it's not that you don't see it coming to fruition. It's just that the doubt starts to move or grow and become bigger than your actual hope and belief. There's a quote I came across, I don't know where from, but I think I saw it online this past week. Both fear and faith want you to believe in things that you can't see. Your job is to choose which one. Fear is something you can't see, but faith is also something you can't see. Your decision is choose which one to believe in. So let's get into skepticism. So, another quote in here: to believe in God or a guiding force because someone tells you is the height of stupidity. We are given senses to receive our information with our own eyes we see, and with our own skin we feel. With our intelligence, it is intended that we understand, but each person must puzzle it out for himself or herself. This is by Sophie Burnham. Now, the reason why we think it's hard to imagine what a helping hand would look like, or hard to accept that someone wants to help, or that you have to have faith in the process, trust the process, is I think there's still that level of self-doubt. You still look at yourself and feel like, nah, I'm not really a creative, I'm not really good enough. All these challenges. And creative recovery is a very interesting journey because there's a lot of reluctance that comes with the journey. The self-doubt is there, yes, but there's a reluctance to believing that you can recover. And look at me now. This is week 2. When I started in, the first week, full on optimism, full on hype. And this past week, I've just been, going all over the place. But it says also here in the book that we need to be brave. We need to be brave enough to try recovery. And sometimes all you need to do is experiment and give yourself your own assurance that this is going to work out, right? Trust in yourself. If you can't trust in the process, if you can't trust anything else, trust yourself. It's one of the things I've been learning, and which actually got me to this point. It's not easy sometimes, but I'm learning to trust myself. I'm learning to put, the pen to paper as and when I can. I'm learning to trust something like the morning pages, I'm learning to trust the fact that every morning, if I pick up a pen and just write 3 pages, longhand, freehand, I trust that the thoughts will leave the mind, go onto the page, and you can move on to something else. If you want to write lyrics for a song, you want to paint a new painting, you want to write your next script, you want to write a poem, you want to be creative in any field, trust yourself. And I know when this whole course is done, I'm going to look back at this episode and feel proud that eventually I did trust myself. There's also another section in here called attention. And also, it talks about the quality of what we're doing, this creative recovery, and how much attention you need to give to it. I highlighted something in here about the quality of life, right? The quality of life is in proportion always to the capacity for delight. The capacity for delight is the gift of paying attention. So if you take it backwards, you need to pay attention to find the joy in life. If you pay attention, you will find the things to be joyful or the things to rejoice about in your life. When you do find the things to rejoice about in your life, you then find the ability to appreciate the quality of life that you're building. This course this course is very demanding, I'll tell you this, and it's not easy, but I knew this when I started doing this. I've had I've had this book for, let's say, what's 2026 now. I've had this book for close to 6, 7 years. Never picked it up until now. What changed? For me, I think it's being able to see the joys in being truly a full time creative and not maybe relying on something else, which is okay, perfectly fine. But being able to appreciate the place that I'm in, the growth that I'm making, the journey that I'm on, doing that, just finding the joy in the small things, doing that, I feel, has created a space for me to even welcome the knowledge that I'm learning from the book. And I am grateful. I am grateful. It also talks about attention in this way. It says, um, the misconception of an artistic life is that it gives you great bouts of aimlessness. You feel that to be an artist, and many people feel like that when you're struggling to find your own potential, create, you feel like there's going to be areas of a lot of aimlessness. And yes, there will be that. There will be times when you're just floating. You can't lock in on anything. You're not numb because you do feel the fact that you feel empty or aimless at the time. But at the same time, you're also feeling like, I'm looking, I'm searching. That's I think that's the whole concept of rediscovery. I'm searching for something. And while it feels aimless, look for the small things. The small things are the ones that bring joy. The small things are the ones that turn what could potentially be negative into a positive, right? We look at the negative, like I said, remember the last episode? Things that are negative for some reason feel realistic. They feel like, yes, this is what life is supposed to be. I'm supposed to suffer. I'm supposed to not get the deal. I'm supposed to not make the song. That's okay. That's not okay. And it makes us feel like the positive is unrealistic. I'm supposed to release this song. I'm supposed to write these lyrics. I'm supposed to be creative in this way. It makes it feel like being all those good things, unrealistic. But if you pay attention, it gives you, I think life and being on a creative journey will give you the thing that you're looking for, that I'm looking for as well. So there's a couple of rules of the road, yes, towards the end of this particular chapter that I want to share with you. And I also want to recite to myself. I read these and I thought to myself, maybe these are also some of the things that I need to look on and follow for myself. These are things I need to embrace and embody, not because you're watching this video on YouTube. No, Embody these things because that's the type of creative you want to be. And they are 10 in total. So, rule number 1, in order to be an artist, I must show up at the page. Use the page to rest, to dream, to try. Morning pages or wherever it is that you jot down your ideas, show up at the page. Number 2, fill the well by caring for my artist. The book said you need to do things like self-care, things like you need to eat right, go to the gym. I have been going to the gym. I recently went back into the gym. It's not been the easiest thing, but I'm taking it day by day, day by day. I'm eating differently now. Sleep, well, it shows, right? but I'm working on it. I'm trying to, change my sleep schedule, just turn things around. So yes, fill up the well by caring for the artist. And it includes everything outside of the actual creative work. Care for yourself. Set small and gentle goals. This is rule number 3. Set small and gentle goals and meet them. Sometimes, and in this past week, I've felt like maybe today I missed my opportunity to do the morning pages. Well, a simple goal in that day could be, can you go to the gym though? Because it's part of the things that you want to do and you're just taking care of yourself. Maybe today is not that day to be creative. That's okay. But can you do one thing, just one thing in that day where you feel like you're taking care of yourself? Set a simple, small, gentle goal, meet yourself there. And for many days in this last week, I've felt like that, where it's just, you know what, the only thing I can do today is go to the gym and work out and go back home, and that's okay. Let's learn to be okay with the simple things. Not everything has to be grandiose. Not everything has to be over the top. Not everything has to be over, larger than life. Sometimes it's the little things. One thing, meet it, do it, done. Number 4, pray for guidance, courage, and humility. Guidance, courage, humility. All things that I think every creative can tap into. Guidance, because you'd love to meet a mentor, you'd love to maybe learn from someone else who's done what you've done. Throw yourselves into those conversations. Courage, because like for me, self-doubt is a very big thing. And learning to be courageous enough to push through it is what gets the job done. Humility, be humble. What did Kendrick say? Sit down, be humble. Yeah. So those 3 things, pray for them. Guidance, courage, humility. Number 5, remember that it is far harder and more painful to be a blocked artist than it is to do the work. Remember that it is far harder and more painful to be a blocked artist than it is to do the work. This one stuck with me because it's that feeling of, I could be doing this, but I feel blocked. I could be unlocking my own potential, but I can't. Sometimes just doing the work is the thing that helps unblock yourself. If, for example, let's say you wanted to write a song, right? And you've been going through some serious writer's block like I have. Sometimes just pick up a pen and write 3-4 lines. Let it be something you're not proud of. It's okay, no one has to hear it. Let it be a simple section that you probably throw away. Doing the work is always better than accepting that you are blocked. And it goes into what we're doing, what the whole course is about. Rediscovery. You do it by doing the work. Number 6, be alert always for the presence of the great creator leading and helping my artist. Now, this is where I got a bit of light at the end of the tunnel. This past week, despite all my self doubt, despite all my moments of, losing sleep, some really beautiful things have happened to me this past week. One, I linked up with a very talented professional guitarist um, called Billa Joints. If you don't know who Billa Joints is, go listen to The Fall Off by J. Cole. He's one of the guitarists and the writers there, and I've had a really interesting conversation with him. Um, I bought myself my very first MIDI controller, and I took it back home, set it up, and that's the one thing that I've been looking for. I think you can see the smile on my face. The one thing that I go back home to and just play with it. Just learn the keys, learn the scales, learn to try and produce. That, despite all the self doubt that I was feeling, that was a really powerful moment for me. And then number three, in addition to this course, um, there's something else that I'm working on that I feel I should only speak about in the next episode. So that's for week 3, because I'm hoping and praying that it comes through. But those 3 things have given me so much hope and belief that, the man upstairs is still involved in a very, very interesting way. Number 7, choose companions who encourage me to do the work and not just talk about doing the work or why I'm not doing the work. So I've been reading a couple of comments on these particular episodes. I've been receiving texts from people, and some of the things I read have been the motivation to combat my self-doubt. Like, your comments really help. I'd need to just say thank you, guys. Your comments have really, really helped this past week. Your motivation, that text that says, "Hey, man, just keep doing it, keep going, don't stop, keep going." Thank you to anyone that's watched this. Send a comment, send me some feedback from how we started week 1, week 0 even up until now. Thank you, because it goes a long way into making sure that this gets done. Number 8, remember that the great creator loves creativity. He who created us for the purpose for us to become creators. We are his creation, and therefore we need to be creators of our own selves and make our own creations. And of course, there's, how people normally do it. There's procreation. Yes, you meet someone and have children. But in the space of your creative exploits or your efforts, it's important that you recognize that the one who gave you that skill, the one who gave you that gift, gave it to you for a reason. They want you to be a creator as well. He created, therefore you need to create. Remember that it is my job to do the work and not judge the work. It goes back to what I was saying. Don't be so self-critical or self-judgmental about the journey that you're on. Just do the work. Do the lines suck? Probably yes. Does the painting not hit the way you thought it would? Probably yes. But just do the work. Don't judge the work. There's a quote I saw from Ed Sheeran. I think it was from one of his documentaries. I think it's called a Songwriter documentary, where he gives the illusion of writers, and this is for like musicians, but it could apply to anyone else, where you open a tap. If you've opened a tap that has been sealed for a very long time, what's the first thing that comes out? Water. Water, dirty, rust, all that stuff. But you need to let it flow. You need to let the water flow consistently until all the gunk is out. And then you get to that crystal clear water. It's the same thing. Don't judge the work that you're doing. Just do the work. Then, number 10, place this sign in your workplace. Workplace. And the sign, what should be on the sign is, "Great Creator, I will take care of the quantity. You take care of the quality." That's it in a nutshell for me. Do the work. He will make sure that he fine tunes the work and makes it crisp. All you need to do is do the work. Do the quantity of the work. Let him take care of the quality of the work. Um, the final bit in this chapter were the tasks for this week. Um, and there were different tasks that were expected, quite a few, by the way. Quite a few, eight tasks required from me, and there's only two that I was able to do that were easy to do. I think it also goes back into the area of self-doubt. The first one was to dip back into week one and read the affirmations, and found out which caused the most reaction. Often the one that sounds the most ridiculous is the most significant. And then it asked me to write uh, 5 times each day in the morning pages, which I did not do, but I did find out the affirmations. And I think I'm going to read just a few that stood out for me from week one, right? Yes, creative affirmations. You can also check these out in the last episode. Um, Number 5, my creativity heals myself and others. The work that I'm doing with this course is going to be the thing that heals me. And in so doing, could potentially heal someone else who's watching this. And I truly, truly hope that this does that for you. The two other affirmations that I paired in the last video are, I am willing to learn to let myself create, and I'm willing to let God create through me. I feel like those two affirmations spoke to me because they talk about two different things: allowing yourself to be a vessel for God's creativity, but then allowing yourself to be the creative that does the work. Be the person that creates. And then, while you become the person that creates, allow God's flow to come through you and create through you. Be the vessel for God's creativity. Those two spoke out. Those three affirmations stood out for me. And then the other task that I wanted to get into, that I need to. It's a simple one, and I did not do it because it goes well with the morning pages. But I'll tell you what I will be doing to just catch up from this last week. The life pie. Draw a circle, draw a circle, divide it into 6 pieces of pie. Label one piece spirituality, one exercise, another play, another work, friends, and romance and adventure, right? So, spirituality, exercise, play, work, which is number 4, and then friends, and then number 4, number 5, friends, and then number 6, romance and adventure. Place a dot in each slice to the degree to which you have fulfilled in that area. The outer rim indicates great, and the inner circle not so great. And then what you need to do, connect the dots. And then this will show you where you might be failing in this journey of yours. And I might want to learn that. But it also gives you some tips on how to fix different parts of your life pie. If, say, for example, your spiritual life is minimal, even a 5-minute stop in a church, cathedral, in a mosque, a synagogue, it can restore a sense of wonder. Whatever it is that you believe. Remember, on this course, religion is not the thing that locks us. Whatever you believe. Um, Even 5 minutes of drum music could put you in touch with your spiritual core. So I say all this to say there are things that I want to learn about myself, and I'm going to do this life pie exercise. And maybe, just maybe, I'll draw it out and then share it with you in the next episode. And last but not least, the check ins. Yeah, let's answer the check ins honestly. Honestly. How many days this week did you do your morning pages? Um, Zero. Not a single day. Not a single day. And that's okay. It's fine. It's time to pick back up. So tomorrow morning, let's get to it. Let's get back on these morning pages. Number 2, did you do your artist date this week? Also, 0. Did not do the artist date this week. But that's okay. That's okay. If anything I've learned, trusting that this part of the book was supposed to be hard is okay. And then number 3, were there any other issues this week that you consider significant for your recovery? Describe them. Whoa. It's been tough, man. And again, I have been very judgmental of myself. I've been very on and off about the book, very skeptical, very angry. And you might have even felt some of that energy while I was recording this. But now that I know that it was expected, it gives me more hope for week 3. It's almost as if when we do these short bits, the next one is going to expose to me what was supposed to be last week's lesson. So you learn by doing, right? So it's okay. It gets better from here. It gets better from here. But that's all the time. I feel like this episode has been longer than any other episode I've done, and I'm trying to make sure I keep these as short as possible. So it's time for me to lock off here. But thank you to everyone that's been tuning in from week 0 up until week 2. Next week is week 3, which is recovering a sense of power. I'll be sharing those in a bit. Actually, a week from now, I'll be sharing that. And then also just trying to catch up on what I've lost. You know, the days that I haven't been doing the morning pages, trying to catch up on that. Days I haven't done the artist date, trying to catch up on that. And most importantly, also taking care of myself. Get some sleep, my guy. Get some sleep. Just go get some sleep. Yeah. So maybe after shooting this, I'm going to go take a nap. But thank you so much to everyone that's been showing me love and, you know, a comment here, feedback there. I love it. And I'm very grateful for the opportunity to do this with you, not for you, because I'm doing this for me, but doing this with you. Like as always, please just like, comment, subscribe, share, and yeah, tell a friend, man. Send this to everyone that's feeling blocked or would like to rediscover their creative self. Or if maybe it's you, watch it again. Go back to the first episode, week 0, then week 1, and then this one, and just grow with me. All right? Peace and love, guys. Crown Boy TimothyCODE signing out.